Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole, and welcome to the podcast. We'll be sharing wisdom and encouragement from my mom, a woman who has created a 36-year marriage full of joy and love, and raised 3 children to adulthood that love her and love each other. We'll be talking about how to be a great mom, how to be a great wife, and how to love your life in the process. I really want to start this series going through different bad behaviors that, everybody has, but specifically kids, and talking about what is the behavior and then how do you either prevent it or deal with it when it comes up. What do you think about that?
Say behaviors, or do you want me to just tell you overall view?
No, I want specific behaviors. So I'm going to tell you what they are, and then you're going to rapid fire answer me. And we'll do a series. We'll start with a couple today, and then we'll do it again.
Okay.
So the first bad behavior I want to talk about is yelling.
Yes, definitely. And that was your dad helping me, because I liked to yell. When you were little, I thought that's how you got people to behave, because I didn't know other things. I didn't have other tools in my toolbox. So he talked to me about yelling, that it's not good. And the reason why is because people stop listening when you start raising your voice. If somebody's yelling at you, are you really listening to what they're saying and how you can change your behavior to make them stop yelling?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're like, who are these people yelling at me, or why are they yelling at me here? This is awful. So you can't raise your voice unless there's a security issue and a safety issue.
Right.
It's the only time I would scream. And that would be a no car, no crevasse.
Those are the only 2 dangerous options. Either a car or a big old hole in the ground.
Exactly. But
no, crevasse.
yes,
Stop.
deep crevasse, you will die. So in listening to your dad, and it had to do with the triangle. Do you remember the triangle?
Oh, very much.
Yes.
I think about it often. Sure. So my dad has this theory that your brain is kind of like a triangle, and on the bottom is emotion, and then on the top is logic. And so if you allow the emotion to rise, you squish logic until it's so small that you're not using it. And so the important thing is to be able to control not just anger, but any real true emotion, so that you can think properly through a situation.
And people will listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very important. One of your brothers had a lot of emotion as a child. And just teaching him that, to not react, to talk, people would listen to him better. And they did. And it really had several instances where people took him more seriously because he was keeping controlled.
Oh, yeah. It happens all the time. The boys tell stories where like one of them got in, had a fender bender, and the guy came out screaming at him, and he just kept really calm, and the guy calmed right down, and they cleared the situation right up, and everything was totally fine. But if he had allowed his emotion to get the better of him, it could have been a very dangerous situation. So,
So controlling emotion is very important, because there's a time and a place.
Oh, yeah.
There's a time and a place to be angry, and a time and a place to be
yelling when there's a crevasse. You just gotta sometimes just
stop.
stop it.
And that's a very important thing about motherhood, is to make everything fun.
Yes, that's very true.
It's a lot more fun to laugh than it is to scream.
So, but I like that. So in terms of controlling the yelling before the yelling happens with your kids, is teaching them, first of all, the benefits of being calm and logical, and what you actually get out of that, and how you can actually get your point across. But then also the alternative of how do you actually control your emotion, because that's a lot harder said than done. And I think, even to this day, sometimes I have to be really careful, because you get frustrated, you get sad, you get angry, and there's lots of different tactics. But what were some of the ones that you taught us when we were little, but then as we got older, to control that emotion and allow ourselves to think logically?
To pick your battles, that there are battles that need to be won and battles that you can let go. And I would always say, is this the hill I want to die on? Is this something that's important? And safety was always something I wanted to die on. I would have, given my life for you. And so just knowing that what's important, having a hierarchy of importance of what we're trying to teach you, or what you're feeling, or what we're feeling, and just saying to ourselves, or myself in this instance, what am I trying to teach her? What do I want her reaction to be? She's going to go out in this world. I'm going to have to let her go. how do I want her to be able to handle herself out in the world?
Mm.
So I just worked on those types of issues as they came up. So you had the tools in your toolbox to handle life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I think, of course, clearly I'm very grateful for. It served me very well. I think in terms of managing emotion, there's a couple of ways that I think I look at it. One is the overarching what you need to maintain. I think about it a lot for anxiety as well. And John Deloney has a whole book on building a non-anxious life that I think has a lot of these pieces in it. But this idea of generally, what do you need to maintain and be able to regulate your emotions? And a lot of it, honestly, is kind of what kids need. You need proper sleep.
Yes.
You need proper nutrition, and you need to move your body. And, there's other things like, being outside, having strong relationships with people, but there's things that your body needs to be well enough to even start this. So, really making sure that you're caring for yourself. And then there's things in the moment, like you had mentioned about maybe you take a deep breath or you count backwards, or there's lots of different strategies that I think people use to calm down that emotional reaction so that they can allow their brain to take over. Mm-hmm. What other tools do you like to use?
Well, when you were younger, we would just, if something wasn't going right, we'd just play freeze game. Like everybody freeze.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's so cute. It's like if we were upset or something.
Yeah, if we just stop in the moment, and then just take your mind off of it, and then we'd come back to it. It's not like we wouldn't address it, but we would just make something fun. We'd end up laughing about whatever it was, and then we'd work the problem back to understand why you were feeling that way or what you wanted and you can't have or could have. It's at a certain point. So we just tried to laugh as much as possible, which sounds really lame, but it worked.
Well, I think it's hard to be angry, frustrated, throwing a tantrum when you're laughing and having fun. And then I think one of the great things about laughter is it is kind of a bit of a reset that allows you to then address something. Because if you're frustrated and angry, and you see that with people, I mean, even adults, you see with it when they're angry or frustrated or mourning or going through something tough, it can be good to just kind of laugh and kind of shake it off a little bit. And then you can get back into solving the problem. So I think using laughter is, when your kids look back on their lives and when they think about you, it's much better for them to think about laughter and fun, and then you can get in what needs to get done to teach that kid or help them grow.
Yes.
So I like that. Okay, so what else in terms of yelling? What if somebody yelled at you? What would you do if like I yelled at you? Or
I would never raise my voice back because it takes two. There's the other part your dad taught was that it takes two people to get into an argument. And if somebody's not responding to your yelling, it's hard for you to yell at me if I'm talking like this to you. Mm-hmm. So I would not let you get me upset because then you won. And I was never going to let you win because I'm the mom and the adult. And I better have a better way of dealing this, than you coming and making me upset. Yeah. So,
and what a terrible lesson to teach a child that yelling is the way that they get things. I mean, that is just not going to serve them in life at all. I think there's two different kinds of yelling. There's that frustration of like, I am frustrated, I am emoting. And then there's like rude yelling. And so I think, I recall, frustration, but not necessarily ever truly being unkind to you, because I think, that was something we learned very young.
Right. Yeah. We would do games. We would, when something wouldn't go our way, we would start talking about things like a broken teacup. What else is sad? Right? We go,
I remember that.
Oh, spilled milk.
So sad.
That's very sad.
Things.
Yeah. Sad things. Yeah. And then you end up laughing, right? Something's not going right.
Because, some yelling is not the answer.
No. Life needs to be fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a good one. I like that for anger and yelling. Another bad behavior that I'm really curious about is lying. So how do you lay the groundwork so that your child understands that it's important to be truthful and makes that a habit? And then what do you do to discipline or to deal with when a kid does lie? Because it's going to happen.
Yes, of course. Everybody has their moments. But what I did was I had you respect me. I earned your respect by taking care of you, loving you, and
being consistent with us. So
Yes.
Your word meant something.
Yes. And, I was the one, when I was with you to feed you and have fun with you and take you places. And I would just, I did catch you in a lie, which was very rarely because you were very good about getting very sad if you did that, was I would just talk to you about it. I would say, how does that make you feel? How is that supposed to make me feel? And how can I trust you? And isn't trust so important in a relationship? And then sometimes I would say, oh, I really want to take you to Disney. Oh, I lied. Why is that not good
to show that, like, to demonstrate how lying is really
it can be very
painful.
Yes. And it can be a small lie, it can be a big lie, but it's important to be able to trust and tell the truth. And if you can't tell the truth to somebody, why can't you tell me that truth? What is it about what's going on in your life that you can't be honest with me? And whatever it is, I want to know everything. The good, the bad, the ugly. I want to know it because you're going through this in your life and I'm here to help guide you. So I just made a place where you could tell me things and I wouldn't get mad at you ever. And I would be disappointed and you'd know that and you didn't like that, but we'd work through it and talk about it. And you earned my trust again and I earned your love and it was great.
Yeah, that was good. I think that point of being a safe place is really true because I can be honest with you. And when I tell you things, you do a great job of hearing me and kind of caring for me in that moment, while also knowing that there were I knew there are consequences to things, but that's okay. Kids need consequences. They have to understand. So I think, you always did a good job being that safe place for me to be honest, which I think was good. But then also, understanding that trust is important and being able to be close, as part of that is honesty. So what would you do? Like, say your little 4-year-old or 5-year-old lies to you. What do you do kind of in that moment to deal with it?
I would sit you down or this child down.
Not me.
Yeah, no.
Never.
Except once. But
just once, yeah.
I would sit you down and just say, how is that supposed to make me feel? And how do you feel treating me that way? And you would just sit there and ruminate in that and you would come to the conclusion that you didn't want to make me feel that way, that you wanted my love. And part of giving love is trusting and being kind to somebody. And I was always going to love you, but I didn't have to like you. And you wanted me to like you too. And I wanted to like you too. So that's why I put the time in to make sure that you were a great kid. So I did like you.
Yeah. No, it's good. But I think that importance of the difference between liking and loving, I think, is important because you want to have kids that you like. And part of that is you're always going to love them, of course. And I think it's important for kids to know that they can never do anything that will make you not love them. But I do think this idea of, wanting to enjoy being around your child is just really important. And so how do you instill the behaviors so that you do enjoy them?
Right. And part of it is making their environment fun where they can be honest and truthful and enjoy life and come to you with their problems. Then that all happens.
Yeah, it's healthy. Okay, love it. All right, so that's lying. One of the other challenging behaviors that I've heard from kids, especially when they're toddlers, is this idea of them saying no all the time or, no, no, no. And I think it's different at different ages. There's like the young, no, I learned the word and now I'm excited about it, knows. Then there's the no when they're older, no to adventure, no to fear, no because of fear, no to risks, things like that. So how do you, first of all, teach kids the importance of, saying yes and what that looks like? But then when they do say no at different ages, how do you deal with that?
Well, when they say no and learn the word no, you sometimes have to make fun of it. Like when they say no all the time, you go, oh, would you like $1 million? And they say no, you're like, oh, okay, I'll remember that. And because that is just funny. And so, but.
So that's to save yourself from going crazy because kids are saying no every 2 seconds. Yeah,
2 seconds.
I get that.
But you just realize that it's just their time and they have to set their boundaries and you say, okay, that's your boundary. Okay, well, here's my boundary. Now we both learn each other's no's. So then you start finding ways that you can say yes to each other and build on that. And that is, no, I don't want to put that pink shirt on, where you say, okay, well, here's a pink or a purple. Which one would you like? You start giving them choices where they can say yes, but it's in with your range of acceptability. That you're okay if they wear the pink or the purple because that's what's clean and that's what's, they can fit into. You just make their battles controllable where it's okay for you. You're okay with what their choice is.
So giving them that choice, that is a tactic to get around the no, is while still being, healthy and good, and giving your kid autonomy because they need to learn. They have a whole lifetime of making decisions. So you have to give that to them. But it's giving them the different options so they can say no to something while still doing the thing they need to get done.
Yeah. For like school dressing, on Sunday you'd pick out your clothes, and we had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, organizational chart thing. And then you would, on Monday, you knew that this was your Monday outfit, but you had already picked it out. I had already given you the clothes that I was okay with you wearing. So you just kind of make a boundary around and let them make the decisions so they have the control because they want control. And you want to give them control within your acceptable.
Right. Within what's safe for them and healthy for them. Yeah.
And you can do. You can't have them have cookies all day long. That's
No. I mean, now that I'm an adult, I can, but not as a child. So that's when they're younger. And I think that kind of no, terrible to age, no is one thing. But then how do you encourage your kids as they get older? Because I see there's a lot of people, and I've had to work on this a lot as I've gotten older as well, is wanting to say yes to things and wanting to, be willing to adventure and be open to new experiences. And sometimes it can be scary. And so people might have a tendency to say no. So how do you, as they're getting kind of into that more, that a little bit older, able to understand, do they want to do something or not, or they're just scared of something? Like, how did you mitigate and help us say yes to adventures? How do you deal with kind of the no at the older ages?
The older ages, you just talk it through with them and say, you make plans, have them help themselves make the plans so they know what to expect. If they're going over with somebody to a movie or a party or something, you just say, okay, here's who's going to be there. Here's what movie you're going to see. You just start walking them through what to expect so it's not a shock to them and they can handle whatever they know.
So they're more likely to say yes.
Yes. And you could always call me, and use me as an excuse for needing to come home.
Yes.
And I would always come pick you up if you needed it.
Yes, you did do that. I like that. Yeah, because I think as I've gotten older, I've gotten better. I mean, I think I was pretty adventurous when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten more willing to say yes because I have been able to think through these different options. It's like, well, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Probably nothing. And so I'll get to do this wonderful, amazing thing. So like, I'm going to go try it. So I think that's a really good skill.
You never had to do it again.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
The great thing about being an adult.
Yeah, and I think you did a good job teaching us to try everything. Just try it. You might not like it, and that's totally fine now. We'll come back to this topic at at another time when we have some others. But those, I think, are three really good ones to talk through. Okay, break. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to be better. Okay, so I gotta stretch. Oh, yeah. How about this? I love you.
Yes, but